Welcome back to The Truth, and let's get to some conversations of substance. In our crucial conversation, we'll be talking about some of the pros and cons of community work, and my special guest today is from Cornerstones. She's the Data and Strategic Initiative Manager, Miss Lise-Quinn. How you doing? Ph.D., I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you. I am very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing fine. There's been a lot of inconveniences to get this show back on, but I am here, and we're going to tell some truth, and I'm glad you're here on the couch.
Thank you.
I mean, we actually work together, so we do a lot of good things here in the community of Fairfax and Virginia. So tell the people a little bit about what you do here in the community.
Well, I work with Cornerstones, as you say, as the Data and Strategic Initiatives Manager. And one of my key roles is to make sure that the programs that we implement as an organization that is serving largely the homeless and low-income community, they're responsive to the needs of the people that need our services. So one of the things that I need to do is make sure that those who are closest to the problems are having their needs addressed. And so I look at the programs we have, I look at the data that comes out of it, and just to make sure that we are doing things that make sense for people. They're not programs that we design because we think that's what people need, but we actually give people what they need so that they can enter society feeling that they have access to the things they need to prosper and live healthy, connected lives.
And how long have you been doing that? How long have you been in that field?
I have been with Cornerstones for just over a year and a half.
Over a year and a half. How long have you been in the Virginia area?
4 years.
4 years. Can you tell my audience a little bit about yourself and where you come from and your background in your hometown?
I am from Belfast, Northern Ireland. I grew up there many, many moons ago, but I have spent most of my adult life overseas working with nonprofits in the international relief and development sector. Yes, I've always been strongly motivated by issues of social justice and doing what I can to make sure that people in our community, wherever that be, overseas or here, have opportunities that enable them to feel self-sufficient and have the dignity of work and being able to raise their families and work also to dispel some of the issues that keep people apart. In Ireland, I was working with a number of agencies that were doing ethnic reconciliation between what are the two sides of our community, which is the Catholic or Republican versus the Protestant or Loyalist, and working to support all of those who were working to bridge the divide.
If you had an opportunity to get that fight, or really it was in a perfect world, you could fight that issue every day, what issue would that be for you?
I think for me, having lived overseas and in war situations and in incredibly poor countries, I think the greatest injustice is that there is poverty in this country. And even with the work I've done with Cornerstones, knowing that a big chunk of our population need maybe once, twice, 3 times the services of an organization like Cornerstones in order to get through from day to day, from week to week, from month to month. Anyone who, I think in the United States of America, has to make a decision between feeding their children and paying utilities is in a situation that is, abhorrent, I think, to me, and it makes me very sad. And I worry about the fact that people cannot afford to live on basic minimum wage here. And people are working 2-3 jobs in order to survive, and because that has ramifications for every other aspect of their life. And I believe that, as a community, we need to own poverty, and we're only as strong as our weakest link. And if our weakest link are people that are struggling to survive and raise their children and give them opportunities, then it is our duty, everybody's duty in our community, to work to make that better, give people access, create a more equitable world for people. And I have to say, I do like being in Fairfax because I see that Fairfax is really moving toward issues of equity.
Yes.
And that makes it an exciting place to work.
Exactly. So let me ask you, since we about to get a new president in 2016, what would be that one question that you would ask that president, the new president, after the Barack Obama's gone? What would be that one question you would ask him or her? Because it looks like we might have a female too that'd be running for president this time around. What would be that one question or that one issue that you'll want to bring up with the president and see if, and they could say, okay, we're gonna get it done. I know you said about being able to get equality with pay. Now that's a real good issue. But what's something that you think could be done feasible right now, and you can ask the president, the new president incoming, that you can hope they can get done?
Well, I suppose it depends who's going to be president.
Oh, okay.
But
if it's Donald Trump, let's say if it's Donald Trump.
and,
won't even ask Donald Trump?
Well, yeah, if it's Donald Trump, then I would ask him to rethink everything he has put forth in his lead up to the presidency, and perhaps get some input from people who work at the ground level, and trust other people in the community to lead him to actually bring America into a place that is really a place that people will continue to want to come and not fear coming. Okay. And I think that I would also tell them to raise the minimum wage.
Raise the minimum wage. They definitely have done that in California. I think it's supposed to be going to $14 or $15 in California. That's just amazing.
And I think 15 is that's the bare minimum.
The bare minimum. You'll be a great mother. I'm glad to be your child. But Annalise, before we get going, like the name of the show is The Inconvenient Truth. And quickly, what would be something like name me or tell me a quick story about an inconvenience that you personally or something around you that eventually you embraced and it got you to the truth of a situation?
Well, when I was doing my research in Malawi many, many moons ago, I spoke with an elder in the village that I was living and studying, and I asked him a question related to how he reflected on the number of foreigners that had come through, whether they were missionaries or teachers and that sort of thing, who had come through northern Malawi. And I asked him, what did he think, if anything, was one of the primary differences between in the culture of the people he saw come in and the culture that he was part of. And he said, I believe that you, and I think he just meant the general you focus a lot on your rights, and we try to focus more on our responsibilities.
Wow.
And that really struck home for me, because I think it's important for us to recognize the rights of other people, but I think we also need to recognize that we have responsibilities to other people too. Exactly. And that's what makes us human, and that's what makes our society strong.
Hey, I've talked to a lot of generations that's older than me. They say it all the time. It seems like we've become a country and a generation of entitlement. Right. And that might be what was the guy from Malawi? Malawi,
yes.
The guy from Malawi said?
Yeah, Malawi.
Hey, rights and responsibility. Sometimes you got to be responsible before you can get your rights.
Absolutely.
But Annalise, thank you so much for the time.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it with them beautiful blue eyes.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back with The Inconvenient Truth. We'll be checking in with my uncle, VIP Ty, live from the alley. You never know what's going to happen there. The truth will be right back.